take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that tension is leaving your body. As you breathe in and breathe out, if it's safe to do so, allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, notice that you're accessing a deeper sense of tranquility and relaxation purely because you're more focused on my sound, this audio, this voice, more aware perhaps of the feeling of oxygen going in through your nose and out through your nose, allowing you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed now. And it's not even that you need to be relaxed. It's just that given the choice of being stressed and tense, or relaxed and resourceful, why wouldn't you choose to just allow yourself to feel good, breathing deeply, and allowing that unnecessary tension to leave your body in your outward breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper into a magical state that we call hypnosis. That's right. Deeper and deeper, relaxed. And I want you to imagine that within the power of your mind, you have the capability of doing things that are only possible in the realms of science fiction. And one of the earliest science fiction stories was a book called The Time Machine, a classic book that gave people an essence of what it would be like to travel to a different time, to experience a different time to be alive. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you have a time machine. And sometimes, maybe, in your life, you've taken a new car for a test drive before you buy it, just to experience what it would be like to have this new car. And sometimes you did that and it made you feel wonderful and you thought, this is exactly the car that I want. And other times you experienced something that maybe you didn't expect. It didn't meet your expectations, and therefore the test drive enabled you to avoid making a mistake. I want you to get a sense that this time machine gives you the ability to go to any point in time. And I want you to imagine setting that time maybe several thousand years ago. Just imagine back then there was no technology, no pollution. It was a simpler life. And I want you to imagine to set the time machine and then be back there thousands of years ago. I want you to get a sense of what it feels like to breathe the freshness of the air. But also when you're back there, maybe it was a simpler life, but things were different. Maybe there was limited opportunities. You had a role to play in that society that you were in, and that was it. Maybe the rules weren't particularly fair. Whoever was the most powerful or influential back then could just do what they want and take what they want, and you had to accept it, or risk physical violence or even death. I want you to get a sense that there would have been advantages to living so long ago. But equally, if someone got sick, there was no doctors, no hospitals, a lack of understanding of hygiene, and in the past people died from something as simple as a cut or a minor infection. I want you to get a sense, though, that there you are back at a different time thousands of years ago, and then imagine going back into your time machine and then going, perhaps, to ancient Rome. And maybe you can imagine being there in the Colosseum, seeing the gladiators fighting, perhaps, live animals like lions. And maybe it was incredible to be in this crowd of cheering people, but I want you to get a sense also that all it took for someone to end up there in the Colosseum, in the arena, maybe they just happened to be taken as a slave. Maybe they fought in a war against the Roman Empire and were captured and had to fight for their survival for the entertainment of other people. I want you to imagine back then. Again, there was maybe a lack of fairness. Things could be taken from you without any consequence. People could be stolen and sold into slavery. Perhaps even people could be sexually assaulted and very little could be done about it. But I want you to get a sense that this was at the peak of this particular empire. And maybe there was nice things like amazing architecture, a buzz in the city. But now it's time to leave this place. I want you to get a sense that you're leaving this place and going somewhere new. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to go to the 1920s. And perhaps you're in London or New York, and I want you to imagine the roaring 20s. I want you to get a sense of being at that time, and maybe you were one of the lucky ones. Enough privilege, enough money to enjoy the parties of that time. And back then, yeah, there might have been amazing parties, there might have been good music, people dancing, drinking, having fun. A time after the First World War, but before the Second World War, where things were generally considered to be good. But would it have been good if you were born as an ethnic minority back then in the 1920s? Then even if you were smart, ambitious, hard-working, there would be limitations, restrictions on what you're able to do. Maybe you were born into a gender different from your current gender, and maybe in the 20s things seemed like they were good, but if you were born as a man in the war that would follow maybe just 10 or 15 years later, you might be sent off to battle with a high probability of death or serious injuries. And if you were born as a woman, maybe there would be a lack of opportunities, a lack of influence, a lack of rights. But at least the music was good, perhaps, at that point in time. And then imagine jumping into that time machine and going all the way into the 1960s. time of peace and love. Maybe you can imagine being in a festival. Maybe the iconic Woodstock Festival. And maybe there were benefits of living in that point in time. But was everything perfect at that point in time? There were still issues with civil rights. There were still issues with a lack of choices and opportunities. In the 60s, the economy was good, but it wasn't long after until there was a period of an intense, deep recession. Then I want you to imagine going back in the time machine to the present moment. But you arrive in the present moment with a belief system, a way of thinking that no matter when you are alive, that right now is the best possible time to be alive. Now, there will always be reasons that genuinely bad things can happen to good people. Volatile times can happen. Wars break out. Economies crash. Bad things can happen. But I wonder what it would be like to have the belief that right now is the best possible time to be alive. I want you to imagine, even just 20 years ago, that if you wanted to learn something new, if you wanted new information, perhaps you'd have to go to a library and the information wouldn't even be current. If you wanted to watch a documentary, you had to wait for that to be available at a scheduled time on your TV. And I want you to get a sense that right now, if you have a smartphone or a computer, you can access virtually any information that you need within moments. If you want to learn something, perhaps there's something on a podcast or YouTube that can enable you to figure out an answer to your question. Just a few hundred years ago, unless you were born into a wealthy family, you would get no education at all. And yet right now, you have the capacity, the ability to learn anything that you need to learn. It wasn't that long ago that if you wanted to buy something, you were limited to find whatever was in your local shop. And yet now, within moments, you can find something to buy that is exactly what you need, or solves a problem, or helps you in some way. And it could be with you within a day or two. I want you to get a sense that there was a time where all the power was held by just a few families, a few rich men in smoke-filled rooms, and now everyone has the ability to communicate their ideas for the world and start building an audience, creating their own manifestos, their own way of enabling the world to be a better place. That if you were born now, today, there are less barriers to you being successful and more opportunities, more doors that are open to you than ever before in history. It wasn't long ago that whether you were successful or not would depend maybe on the gender you were born as, the colour of your skin, perhaps the family name or the university you went to. And yet now, technology, the internet, means that someone with a great idea that solves a genuine problem can have an impact on the world like never before in history. If you think back to the pandemic, imagine a pandemic, that same period of isolation. If that happened at a time before technology like phones and smartphones and computers and social media, there might be months without speaking to almost anyone. And yet now, we're able to communicate with people all over the world in seconds. I want you to get a sense that there are more opportunities. If you want to exercise at midnight, you could do that. If you want to create a business, if you want to broadcast to the world, you can do it. I want you to get a sense that what if right now was the best time to be alive? Your ability to impact the world was more now than any other time in history. That although there are unfairness and injustice in the world, things are generally fairer than they've ever been. If someone gets sick now, there is the knowledge and the technology to help them in a way that may not have been possible just 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. Your opportunities to have multiple streams of income are not relying on one company in one town, that you can have different ways of creating wealth, creating success. That you have access to the greatest minds on the planet, and they are just a few clicks away. That if you're going through tough times, in the past you might have to spend a small fortune finding the world's best minds to help you with your problem, and yet now, maybe you can get that same impact for free or very low cost just by discovering them. Maybe on YouTube or a podcast or just on the internet. I want you to get a sense that now is a great time to be alive. That even in tough times, you have choices, you have options. Just one good idea can change the quality of your life. There is more knowledge on how to be healthier, how to avoid or reduce illness or diseases. I want you to get a sense that right now is a great time to be alive. You are unlocking that belief system. Because believing that any other time than right now is the best time to be alive is just a recipe for unhappiness, dissatisfaction, and regret. But if right now is the best time to be alive, then in a year's time it will still be right now, and it will be the best time to be alive. And in 10 years' time it will still be right now, and it will still be the best time to be alive. Which means that you're planting a seed of an idea that will grow into a tree that will give you fruit every day of your life, making you feel good because you get to appreciate being alive right now. And in doing so, you get to notice opportunities that you would have missed before. You get to harness all the benefits of living right now. You can learn what you want to learn, pursue what you want to pursue, connect with those that you want to connect with, and in doing so take your life more in the direction that you want to take it, because right now is the best time to be alive. And you realize you don't need that time machine, because right now is the best time to be alive. Not only is it useful to believe, but it's true. And the more you believe it, the more you notice why now is such a good time to be alive. In a few moments' time, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling motivated, feeling grateful, feeling optimistic, and feeling that right now is the best time to be alive. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.